Most guys, myself included, train by themselves. So I'm going to show you how I introduce my dogs to Gunfire by myself. If you've got a buddy, I suggest you go get a friend, because this is easier with two people than just with one. But if you're by yourself, I'm going to show you how we do it. First of all, your dog should be somewhat steady. He should be through most of his formal hand training, and he should be able to sit and stay without moving. You should have already done some steadiness work where you're throwing bumpers behind you or off to the side, and he doesn't break. He should sit still. If you've gotten to this point, you can think about going ahead and introduction to Gunfire. He got up there, so I'm just going to go back and correct that, put him back where he got up. Sit. Correct him with my lead. Sit. And what I'm going to do is this will be thrown behind my back, so if he breaks I can get to the dog or the bumper, and I'm going to put my starter pistol in the back of my vest and muffle this sound. What I do not want to do is just shoot out in the open and have that loud crack over his head at this point. Sit. Sit. So he handled his first one pretty well, and what I'm going to do is just move in a step or two and do it again. Again, this starter pistol is in the back of my vest. Sit. Sit. So you can see the importance there of throwing that dummy behind you so that you're between the dog and the dummy. If that dummy was between me and him, he would have got to that dummy and just rewarded himself for breaking, which is not what we want. I'm not going to move any closer at this point. Sit. Good. Sit. He was steady that time, so now I'm going to move in just another step or two closer. Sit. And one more. Sit. Sit. So you can see there, no issue with Gunfire because we've introduced it softly and slowly. So the next step now is, because he handled that noise, no issues, we'll actually pull that starter pistol out of our vest. But I'm going to move back to my starting point, which is a good ways away from the dog, so that I can read the dog's body language. And if that noise, if I think that's bothering him at all, then I will increase the distance. Okay, so what we're doing is introducing this slowly and methodically so that we don't have an issue with any kind of noise around this dog. But everything looked good so far. This is actually a good little exercise because I'm reloading right over the top of my dog. Sit. And you can see he's just a little bit unsteady. But think about it when you're in a duck blind. You just shoot 3 times at a duck, and if you are like me, you missed. So what you've got to do is reload. Your dog should be able to sit there nice and calm, quiet, steady, while you reload 2, 4, 6. So everything you do in your training, think about what you're going to be doing out there in a realistic hunting situation. So what I'm going to do is just set him up with another sit and stay. I'm just going to set the whole exercise up again. Sit. This time the starter pistol is going to be out, so the noise is going to be just a little bit more. But again, we're going to come back and start away from the dog. That looked good, so I'm going to move in a step or two. Set. Move in a step or two. And he's got no issue, sit, with this noise. Sit. He got up and he moved a couple paces, so we're going to take him back to where he got up. Always make the correction where he made the mistake. Sit. If he only moves a step or two, you've got to go back, put him back on the exact same spot that he got up. If you don't, all you're doing is teaching your dog to creep. And now we're within 8-10 feet of the dog. Sit. And you can see that he has no issue with this starter pistol, which is fantastic. Sit. So that was a proper introduction to gunfire. What you saw was we did not come right up to the dog, pull this starter pistol out and start shooting over his head. That is the last thing you want to do. Introduce this sound slowly and from a distance, and then work your way in. Read your dog's body language the whole time. If he's looking apprehensive, shy, anything like that, do not move any closer. Actually take a step back and just work on your gunfire from that point wherever he's comfortable, and then you can move in again. Do not get in a hurry with this. If this takes you a week, let it take a week, okay? 99.9% of gun shyness is man-made. Most gun dogs, if they've got the right genetics, are not gun shy dogs. They've had a bad introduction to it. So take your time, do it slowly. Again, if you've got a friend, that's even better because you can get even further away with your buddy. He can be shooting the gun while you're there with your dog. Just reassuring him and giving him the confidence that that gunfire doesn't mean anything other than eventually you're gonna get a retrieve. But Patty did really well with that. I'm really happy with it. From here, we'll keep on moving in. I'm gonna say probably within a couple days I can shoot this starter pistol right over his head and it'll be no issue because we introduced it the right way. So Patty's had no issue with his introduction to gunfire. We're now at the point where we can shoot this starter pistol right next to him. What I'm gonna do is shoot this starter pistol way over here, away from his head, and then I can just slowly move it in to where eventually I should be able to shoot the starter pistol pretty much out here like this, like it would be a shotgun. So we're just gonna try it with the first shot here. Oh, that looked really good. So he's handling everything really well so far. So what I'm gonna do is actually just start to move my starter pistol in a little bit closer to where we're shooting right over his head. You can see there's no reaction whatsoever with that gunshot. He's actually just looking at that bumper, which is what we want. So now we're literally, for the first time, shooting this starter pistol just like we would our shotgun in the duck blind. And no issue whatsoever. Good boy, Patty. Good boy. That's the result if you do introduction to gunfire the right way. A dog that noise doesn't mean anything to him. Good boy. Good lad.